Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Loch Briar Knits podcast. I am Kelly, your hostess, coming to you from a soon-to-be very humid Nova Scotia, Canada. Apparently, we're getting 2 days of high humidity and temperatures like in the low 30s Celsius for any American viewers. I mean, we get cold, but not that cold this early. Anyway, so I am going to get this done early this morning because I actually have to go out and clean out the gardens, and I'm hoping to get that done before the worst of the heat hits. So I have 6 small projects and 1 disaster. Potential disaster. No, it's probably going to be a disaster. But I have 1 finished object, and I'm going to show that to you now. This is part of the gifts I'm doing for my family for Christmas. I'm knitting everybody a pair of socks. So these ones are for my dad. This is Croy socks in the, I think it's a drift colorway. Luckily, my dad has fairly small feet. So, and these knit up very quickly. I find the Croy socks are much more of a sport weight than a fingering weight. So what I did was I went up to a size 2.5 maybe. And then I knit it with, I think I did 56 stitches, 28 on each side, 56, yeah. So that should work out fine for him. These knit up fairly quickly, just also because it's a thicker yarn than fingering weight, and also because I really need to get a move on because I still have, I think, 6 pairs of socks left, and it's all for the guys. They're big feet. My sister's family, all of them except for her, have huge feet. My nephew, my youngest nephew, who I will show you now, because I do have one of his done. And I was holding off doing his as long as possible because he's still growing. But he has size 13 feet. So there's the heel. Like if you were to, like, here's my foot. Here's his foot. So yeah, I used up almost an entire ball. I'm using Fleechy Knit Picks Fleechy, and this was the Bebop colorway, and I have that much left. Actually, I don't have that much left. I think this is what I pulled off of this one, which I'm knitting with now, just so I could start in generally the same spot, which I did manage, although I didn't pull quite as much of the pink as I thought I did, or rose or red, whatever it is. But it's still, they're still matching up because that was only like basically the starting row. So I'm at the point now where I'm ready to do the heel. And what I like about this is that the black sections are more, like there's more black than there are for the like regular stripes until you get down to here. And then it just, you've got like this little section of narrow stripes. But for this one, what it does is, and it seems to be following along, so I'm hoping the same thing happens for this one. But the black is like, because it's bigger, I was able to do the whole heel in black, which I kind of liked. So that sort of looks intentional, but it was mostly a happy accident. So that's half done. That's one's done. So I'm going to be working on those this week. I have my knitting group tomorrow. So I'm hoping to today try to get the heel flap gusset done, and then I can just concentrate on doing the sock at when I'm in my group tomorrow, because I don't want to have to concentrate on doing a pattern. Oh, I have hiccups when I'm trying to get stuff done. So that's my half finished. And then I am knitting my first, not my first Sophie scarf, but my first Sophie scarf that's going to be done in DK weight yarn. I swear to God, I can feel like this little muscle in my eye twitching. Hopefully you guys can't see it. I'm like, I'm knitting this out of my Smoke and Mirrors colorway. And what I did was I just divided it, or I pulled out enough yarn that I needed to do the both ends, or to double it up. Both ends, I don't know what to talk about. Anyway, so here's where I'm at. I did set this aside, and I'll show you why momentarily. Okay, let me see if I can. That's what it looks like. It's been kind of crimped up in the bag. So this is probably one of my favorite colorways, which if you saw me going on about it in the last episode, you already know. I love this colorway. This is going to be for me, and it's just going to be a bit of a shop sample, which Canada Post has gone on strike. So I've had to put my shop's on Etsy, and because I can't mail anything out, it's bad enough I had to put a halt on shipping to the US because of the tariffs, but now I can't even ship anywhere else because of the Canada Post strike. So currently my business is on hold. So that's fantastic right at Christmas time when I do, a good chunk of sales. So, and I get people have the right to strike, but I just wish when they did it, it didn't affect me personally and my income. I can go without receiving mail, but when it sort of hinders my ability to operate my business, I get. What do we got in this bag? Oh, this bag is the washcloths that I'm doing up. This one is for my mom. This is in like these lovely Christmas colorways. I don't know if you can see. Let me get that up close. It's sort of like speckled. I just love these colors. I saw this. It was the only ball that they had. And I got this like at the Jador Variety store that I get a lot of these from because they have really good prices on yarn there. But this is another one that I saw, and of course, knowing how much I like my Smoke and Mirrors colorway, this is sort of in the same vein, and this one may be for me. I love this. It's just kind of a off-white speckled with gray. And I love it. I love it. So I have a couple more in here that I'm going to do up. And these are like suds. These are all, I think, yeah, all of these are suds by Estelle Yarns. So this is another one. I've knit with this one already. And this is another one. And I'm not sure if I knit one up with this colorway yet or not. And then this is a newer one that I got. So those are usually what I've been taking in the car when we're driving anywhere. Also, I have to sell my car. I have to get a new car. Mine's like on its last legs. So I have to start looking for a new car, and I'm heartbroken. I've got the money saved up to get a new to me car, but I have such a sentimental attachment to my existing car. I don't want a new one. I want to keep my old one. I think I showed these in the last episode, and I don't think I've done any work on these because I kind of got hooked into a couple other things. But this is a sock I'm knitting up out of my Rotten Pumpkin colorway. And this is a sock I'm knitting up out of my Earth colorway. So those are still in progress. I haven't made any progress on them. The pumpkin I'm knitting out of what's going to become my new sock base. And I just love how it took the dye. I love how it's knitting up. This is the fingering weight sock yarn. So those are just kind of sitting there waiting for me to, oh my God, my eyeball is doing crazy things. Okay, anyway. Now here is where my time kind of got hijacked. I dyed up chickadee, put that in the shop just as can't post one on strike. So it's there, you just can't see it. So again, this is being knit up on my new BFL base, which will be in the shop once I use up all the other ones. So see if you can, it shows up. There's like the gold and then the kind of gray and black and then the cream. It's just, oh, I love how this is knitting up. And this BFL is actually softer than the BFL I currently have. If you've watched the earlier episodes, you'll know that this year I wanted to pick up new skills. And brioche and half fisherman's rib and fisherman's rib were two of those skills, which I kept putting off. And then I don't know. I think in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm not going to be able to do it. I don't know why. There's no reason. Just follow the directions, Kelly. Anyway, but I was watching Andrea Mowry's YouTube episode where she talked about when she was releasing the Jaunty shawl. And I loved it. And it was half fisherman's. And I'm like, okay, suck it up, KB, and stop being a baby about it and learn fisherman's rib. So I watched her tutorial on half fisherman's rib and thought, that's it. You know how you build stuff up in your head that it's like way worse than what it actually is? Well, this was one of those times. So here is, this is which? This is the wrong side. So let's see if you can get closer so you can kind of see. Like, it's just basically, it's so simple. Get the yarn out of the way, Kelly. There you go. So I love how this is knitting up. I love the play of these colors. And so this is the wrong side, and then this will be the right side. I did have a few little hiccups. Actually, I thought I had a hiccup, but I didn't really have a hiccup. I had done just like a little, I think I just did a stitch wrong, and so I was backing it out, but I didn't quite understand, like when I was backing it out, because your half fisherman's rib, I think the difference between fisherman's rib and half fisherman's rib is that on half fisherman's rib, you're only doing the stitch on one side, and then you're knitting like normal on the other side. And then for, I think, full fisherman's rib, you're doing the stitch on both sides, if I'm understanding that correctly, and I could be way off, so don't take that as gospel. But when I made a mistake, and then I was tinking back, because for half fisherman's rib you're knitting into the kind of the stitch below, so I'd be knitting into, for anybody who has not done half fisherman's rib, watch my very bad explanation. Normally, you would knit into the stitch, whereas with half fisherman's rib, you're knitting below the stitch. You're not you're not going like this. You're going like in the hole right underneath. It's my very technical explanation. But it's so simple, and the pattern is so simple. It's just half fisherman's rib on one side and then knitting and purling on the other side. So it's incredibly simple. It's very relaxing. It's like an 8-stitch repeat. Yeah, it's just, I did this in the weekend when I should have been working on my sweater, my Felix. And I was working on my Felix diligently the first day. And I made it all the way down to split for the sleeves. And that's when things went awry. And I don't know what I did wrong. So this is the Felix sweater by Amy Christoffers. Is that right? Do I have it even on here? This is my second Felix. Yeah, Amy Christoffers, Savory Knitting. So it's in black and white, so you can't really tell too much, but I'm pretty sure most people are familiar with the Felix sweater. If you haven't knit one, you've probably seen other people who have. I am using from my Knit Picks Christmas stash of last year. It's a worsted weight Altiplano. Harango is the color. You're just going to have to excuse the dog hair because everything in my life has golden retriever hair on it. But it's this beautiful green color, dark green color. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And it's very easy to knit with. Yet that did not save me. I got to the point I had to split for the sleeves. And I did that. My one sleeve. Here's the other. Everything was going along fine, although I kind of should have maybe thought, that's a little weird. But maybe not, because I don't remember how things went on the other one. But what happened was I have 20 extra stitches on the needles after separating for the sleeves. I don't know why, but the other thing I noticed, and I'm not sure if this is wrong or not, but I have to pull out my other Felix sweater. So for starters, I was thinking there's way too many of the increase eyelets. So part of me is thinking maybe the reason I have so many extra stitches is because I misread the pattern and did too many repeats. And I'm going to have to pull out my existing Felix sweater to check on that. Then I'm going to have to carefully kind of unwind. I'm going to have to kind of go back. Well, first I have to check and see, did I do too many eyelets? Not eyelets, but you know, like the increasing with the details, like the raglan increasing and then the little, because for some reason I'm looking at this, and it was funny, while I was knitting it, I was like, I don't remember doing that many on my other one, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I don't remember doing 6 on my other one. I was thinking, did I do 4? Which may explain, like somewhere I went off the rails maybe and did too many increases rows. I don't know. Maybe? Like I don't know what I did. But this is on hold until I can figure out, which I may try to take some time. I'm not going to have time today. Probably won't have time tomorrow. I may take some time on Wednesday to do that and try to figure out like what I did wrong. And if it's just a matter of I went I did too many repeats. I can probably back it up and find out where I went wrong. The only problem is that I've got to figure out, now I can't remember, because did I move this to the new starting point, or is this the new starting point? Anyway, this went sideways is what I'm saying. So, and I was, you know what, the funny thing is I was just knitting along going, no, this is so much, this is going so quickly, this is going so well, I'm not having any issues, so much better than the fletching that I had to keep redoing. And then apparently the knitting gods heard me and said, oh Kelly, how cocky you are. Let's fix that. And so here we go. So right now, this is just on hold until I can find time this week to try to figure out what I did wrong. I'm really hoping I don't have to tink back too far, or that if I do tink back, it's not going to be hard to get the correct number of stitches lined up and back on the thing. I'm a little concerned that I might have adjusted where the new starting point is. I don't know. There's a part of me that's like, you know what? Just go right back to the collar and start over from there. But that's actually like the shaping, the raglan shaping starts kind of right from there. So I don't know if that's going to make anything easier. Worst case scenario, I mean, it's Aran weight, it knits up fast. Worst case scenario, if I have to frog it, I have to frog it. If I frog it, I may just decide maybe there's another Aran sweater I want to do, since I already do have a Felix. At the time I was in the mood to knit a Felix. I'm not sure I'm in that mood right now. But I did see another Aran weight sweater and I thought, oh, that looks really nice. And now I forget which sweater it was, but I think I put it in my favorites. So I may just go back and look at that and just call that a day and rip it out and start anew on a completely different thing. The other thing, oh, you know what? I did finish my Musselburgh hat, and I can't remember if I showed that on the other episode or not. I may have. The other thing I was thinking was I have a lot of fisherman's wool left over, and from the blankets that I did last Christmas and the Christmas before that. So I have this color, I have a cream color, I have a lighter brown color, and I have a kind of tweedy cream color. So I was thinking what I might do, where this is nice heavy wool, and I was looking for kind of like a project I could do for donations. And I know that, I think it was Souls Harbor, probably any of the homeless shelters really, were looking, saying that hats are like the most needed thing. And with winter coming, I thought that this would be a perfect project for my fisherman's wool yarn. So I found a pattern. Do I know what I did with the pattern? No, I don't. It is around here somewhere. Maybe, I don't know if I print, ow, sorry. I have arthritis in my toes, by the way. That's what that owing was about. So I have them wrapped, because it's the two toes on each foot. It's the two toes after my big toe. And I walk. Walking is like my main exercise. So but every time I would step on them, it felt like the bones were exploding. It's the best way I can describe it. So I thought, okay, well, I use rock tape on them, which is really good, but I thought this will stabilize them a bit more. So it seems to be helping. Every now and then, like I'll get a twinge, but it's not like, it's not as bad as it's not as bad as it was. Like before, the toe would explode and I'd have to walk on my heel because I couldn't put any pressure down on my toe or on my foot. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's just why I was saying, ow, ow. So anyway, I think that is all of the knitting. I do have a feeling I may completely frog this and try something new because I'm in the mood for something new. And I really want to get going on making some sweaters. So I may frog it. I may actually just try to see if I can figure out what I did wrong. And if I can figure that out and it's an easy fix, then I'll do that and keep going. And if I can't, I'm just going to frog it and maybe either start Felix again or try something completely different. One thing I did know for the Felix, my previous Felix, I think I did it on 5.5 needles. And actually when I did it, I started, you do like the neck ribbing in 5.5 or 5 millimeter. And I forgot to switch it over. So I was kind of like a little bit into the yoke before I realized, oh, crap. So then I switched it to 5.5 because I didn't have I don't know if my 6 millimeter needles, I only have like one pair of those oh no, what it was on my highest, once you hit the 6, you need the bigger screw points on the wire, and I didn't have one. So I thought, well, that's okay. The smaller screw ends goes up to 5.5. So I'll just do it on 5.5 needles. When I started knitting this one, I was like, oh yeah, I did the other one in 5.5 and it fits perfect. I love how it fits. So I thought, I wonder if I should do this one in 5.5 as well. But I couldn't remember if the Antiplano yarn was as thick as the Cascade 220. And I thought it was because they both are sort of borderline worsted Aran weight. But I thought, well, I'll try this one in 6 and see what the material is like that I get. And it was fine. I think it'll be fine. It did feel like a bit of a looser gauge, but not too loose. So I thought, well, this one will just have maybe a bit more of a sweatshirt feel as opposed to a kind of a more fitted feel. I think if I do redo it, I am going to go back to the 5.5. I find knitting with 6 millimeter needles really uncomfortable on my hands, and I got into the groove after a bit, but it never felt comfortable. Like I noticed the feel of it in my hands. Whereas when I go, to the smaller, 4.5 for me for sweaters is like the sweet spot. 5 is good too. 5.5, not so bad, but there's something about once I hit 6, I'm just like, it just feels clunky. And I have small hands, so maybe that's it. Anyway, we veered way off topic. But I think what I might do is when if I reknit that, I am going to stick with, I'll go up to the 5.5 maybe and just leave it there. If I don't go back to the Felix sweater, then I may look for a sweater that uses 5.5-ish, because I think that would work well with the yarn itself as well. So that is about all that is going on. We just came off a week's vacation. My husband was on vacation. I'm retired, so every day's vacation. Although I got to tell you, way busier. Like I'm so busy I don't have time to do the stuff I want to do. What's up with that? I shouldn't say that. I do still find some time to knit, but I haven't had any time, like the time to set aside for dedicated to learning how to spin. And that's really starting to irritate me because I really want to learn how to spin. I bought the wheel. I've got the School of Sweet Georgia membership for 2 years because I figured I'd need that. But we're already like 6 months into it and I've barely learned anything. So, and I've been away from it for about 2 months now. So I'm probably going to have to go back to the start and start rewatching and relearning. I want to make that a priority. And you know what? The housework and the yard work, whatever, that's just going to have to wait. I have been doing my writing in the morning. I'm doing the edits on my current book. So that's going slowly, but it's going well. And I am looking forward to kind of getting that done and getting the third book in the series sort of done and dealt and moving on to something new, because I feel like this series has just been not a slog, but I feel it's been taking so much longer than what it normally takes me to write a book. So, which for any new viewers, that's my other day job. I write books. I have a pile of stuff here I got to put away. I am going to figure out what to do on my Felix sweater, and I feel my eye twitching again. Maybe it's every time I mention the Felix sweater, it starts to twitch. So, but I do have a lot of small projects on the go. I want to do the sock heel gusset shaping for my nephew, and then I can take that with me tomorrow when I go to my knitting group, and which I am really enjoying. My knitting group, by the way, it is really it's really been fun. I've only gone like 3 times so far, but I'm having a blast. It's so nice just to sit there with other knitters and just chat and knit and whatever. It's a really lovely group of ladies. Lovely. I am going to go clean up the mess I have here. I may start getting some of these done because that's just going to be good and mindless knit because I don't have enough on the go. But there's no point in, well, I mean, I can still knit these in the summer and have them for next winter, but I would like to get some done for this winter. And hats are such, especially in Aran Weight Aran, is going to be a quick project. That's what I'm going to do today and try to get this edited and up today. And other than that, I think that's everything. So I hope you guys are getting into the fall knitting groove. I have some plans for some fall episodes, things I want to talk about, and that's going to be coming up. And then I'm also thinking ahead for next year's Make 9, and I have some ideas about that as well. So those will be in upcoming episodes. Until then, I will see you guys later. Happy knitting, and I hope you do not have any fails as I have had. So good luck with the knitting. And I will see you guys soon. Bye.